50,000 accessions belonging to 5,000 species. Vision of the institution is conservation and sustainable utilization of genetic resources across the country in general and Western Ghats in particular.
Kerala School of Mathematics is a research institute conducting high-quality research in mathematics. KSOM began functioning in 2009 when it started as a joint venture of the Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India, and the Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, Government of Kerala. Apart from these funding bodies, KSOM also receives generous funds from the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India.
Kerala School of Mathematics is an advanced academic research center in mathematics, the queen of science. The primary missions of KSOM are promotion of independent inquiry and curiosity-driven research, pushing boundaries of existing knowledge to newer horizons, and to establish itself as a center of excellence, flourishing in research and education in advanced mathematics. KSOM is one of the very few research institutes in India dedicated exclusively to do research in mathematics.
Primary areas of research at KSOM are number theory, non-commutative convexity, Teichmuller theory, and several complex variables. The faculty and the postdoctoral fellows at KSOM are leading researchers and experts who are acknowledged as being amongst the best in their areas of research. KSOM has a regular doctoral program and an advanced integrated MSc PhD program. The students at KSOM are from diverse backgrounds and regions from all over the country. The academic programs at KSOM maintain high standards and are comparable with the best universities in the world. The Kerala School of Mathematics is host to many international and national conferences and research workshops on a regular basis. The faculty members at KSOM also share their expertise by getting involved in many enrichment and refresher programs across the state of Kerala.
Kerala School of Mathematics, KSOM, is an institution meant for advanced learning and research in mathematics, and it's a joint venture of Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, Government of Kerala, and the Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. Kerala School of Mathematics aims to play a catalytic role in reviving the great mathematical tradition of Kerala in the modern paradigm.
Srinivasa Ramanujan Institute for Basic Science is envisaged to become a center of excellence in basic science education and research. It also aims to facilitate
Council for Science Technology. Hearing Trivandrum Dr. Sunil Edward. Dr. J. Xavier, Head of the Department. T.P. Vaidyan, he is the CEO of Trust Research Park. They will reach here shortly for our invited talks, but in advance, I welcome both of them for our scientific fraternity. I welcome
Ms. Nida Mehar CT, and mentor is Professor Muhammad Suhail T, and they are from MES College of Engineering, Kuttipura. There are two second prizes, that is gold prizes. First one is a project entitled IoT-based module for water optimization in farms. And the student team, Mr. Basil Philip, Ms. Akhila Maria, Mr. Amal Nelson, Mr. Roshan Kurian Saji. And mentor is Professor Father Dr. Bennett Kuriakos. Institution is St. Joseph's College of Engineering and Technology, Pala. And the second project is the project entitled COVID Pro. And the student team is Ashwin Sabu, Gogul, Abhi Saji, Alan Matthew. And mentor is Professor Nisha Joseph, and institution is St. Kitts College of Engineering, Kottayam. Okay, there are two third prizes. There is silver, and the first one is the project entitled Teach AR, Virtual AR Classroom for Teachers and Students. And the student team, Hannah Reni, Christy Varghese, Amal Ando, and Gia George. Mentor is Professor Bino Thomas, and institution is St. Joseph's College of Engineering and Technology, Pala. And the second project is the project entitled Smart Walker. Student team is Miss Minshija PM, and mentor is Professor Kiran Bobby, and institution is Mar Athanasius College of Engineering and Technology. Yes, please. And six projects are selected for the special prizes, that is bronze. And the first project is the project titled Yes Box, and the student team is Mr. Thompson Pau, Raphael Moyalan, Shelmi, and Tia. And mentor is Professor Ashwati Wilson from Jyoti Engineering College. And the second project is the Bioculus Incident Detection and Post-Incident Analysis Framework using blockchain and machine learning. And student team, Ragesh Kumar, Nandu Nagesh, Ridin Varghese, Vaishnav, and mentor is Professor Abin Oman Philip, Tokech College of Engineering and Technology. And the third project is the project entitled Smart Mobility Solution, an innovative wheelchair design. And the student team, Arvind S. Krishnan, Chinmay Sarkar, and mentor is Dr. Reku CV, and they are from National Institute of Technology, Calicut. And the fourth project is the project is student net. Yeah. And the fourth project is project entitled Hridida, a healthcare partner, and student is Mr. Rahul Banwal, and mentor is Dr. Kala S, and institute is Indian Institute of Information and Technology, Kottayam. And the fifth project is the pineapple sapling bundling machine, and the student is Onesius Jubin Georgin Karthik, and mentor is Professor Sharin Sam Jos, and institution is Amal Jyoti College of Engineering, Kanjirapalli. And the sixth project is a project entitled IoT-based industrial monitoring using LoRa, and the student team Anusri, Abhina Vijay, Chaitra, Saumya, and mentor is Professor Rensi Sam Matthew. Institution is LBS College of Engineering, Kasargod. Okay, very good. Okay, please. So the announcement is over. So on behalf of KSCSTE and College of Engineering Trivandrum, I congratulate all the team members and wish them all success in the coming years, and I wish they could participate in the coming Tech Fest also. I also appreciate the effort taken by KSCSTE in motivating young innovative talents from engineering colleges, and I wish every best to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. And congratulations to the winners. May I now invite Dr. Rajashree MS, the Vice Chancellor, APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. President of the function and Executive Vice President, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology, Environment, Dr. K.P. Sudhir. Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice, Dr. R. Bindu. Dr. S. Pradeep Kumar, Member Secretary, KSCSTE. Padma Shri M.C. Dattan, mentors to the Honorable CM of Kerala. Dr. Sunil Edward, Dean PG Studies and Principal in charge of College of Engineering, Trivandrum. Faculty members, heads of departments, students, team Kerala State Council for Science, Technology, Environment, and winners of the Tech Fest 2021, the innovators of tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely delighted to be part of this function where we are honoring the young innovators of the colleges in Kerala, engineering colleges in Kerala, by the function organized by Kerala State Council for Science, Technology, Environment. In fact, I was listening to the Honorable Minister for Higher Education, and she was listing out all the possibilities of the young innovators to stay back and contribute to the state. That was the bottom line of the talk. And we all celebrate the success stories of Indian CEOs, the Twitter CEO and Sundar Pichai. We have many icons to celebrate. And what prevents us from staying back and be one among them? That is the question that we need to ask, and it is high time that we should ask that question. So we are very popular and we are very eminent for the intellectual capability, the state of Kerala, and we have our members from our own institutions like
A very cool good morning, one and all. With my immense pleasure, let me invite you all to state-level inauguration of National Technology Day 2022 at LBS College of Engineering, Kasargode. Every year, National Technology Day is celebrated across India on 11th May. It was on 11th May 1998 that India achieved a major technological breakthrough by successfully carrying out series of nuclear tests at Pokhran. Also, the first indigenous aircraft, Hansa 3, was tested on the same day. Besides, India has also performed successful testing firing of the Trishul missile on the same day.
India celebrates National Technology Day every year on 11th of May. NTD is celebrated to commemorate and to honor technological innovations in the country. Technology Day is celebrated as a symbol of quest for scientific inquiry, technological creativity, and the translation of that quest in the integration of science, society, and industry.
Every year, KSCSTE coordinates the state-level NTT celebrations. This year also, KSCSTE, an association with the APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, has planned activities such as webinar series and Daskinathon contest as part of NTT 2022 celebrations. Apart from the before said activities, KSCSTE would like to coordinate a state-level inaugural program for National Technology Day 2022 celebrations at LBS College of Engineering, Kasaragod on 11th May 2022.
Next, let's get into the inauguration ceremony. First of all, I invite Veena Surendran and Gobika T for the prayer song.
നന്മയാകുന്ന കാന്തി കാണുവാൻ കണ്ണിനാകേണമേ നല്ല വാക്കിൻ്റെ ശീലു ചൊല്ലുവാൻ നാവിനാകേണമേ സ്നേഹമാകുന്ന ഗീതമോ എൻ്റെ കാതിലിണയാകണേ സത്യമെന്നുള്ള ശീലമോടെ ഞാൻ ശാന്തി അറിയണമേ ഭൂമി അമ്മയെന്നറിയുവാനുള്ള ബോധമുണ്ടാകണേ ജീവജാലങ്ങളാകെയും ജന്മബന്ധുവായിടണേ ജാതിഭേദങ്ങളെന്ന ശാപമോ ദൂരെ മറയണമേ ലോകമൊന്നെന്ന പാഠമെന്നുമെൻ മനസ്സിലെഴുതേണമേ
Thank you. Next, let me invite our beloved principal, Professor Muhammad Sukuti, for the welcome speech. Sir, please.
Respected President of the function, Professor K.P. Sudesha, Executive Vice President, KSCSTE, and ex officio Principal Secretary, Science and Technology Department, Government of Kerala. Professor Prasad Krishna, Director, NIT Calicut. Professor Samson Matthew, Director, NATPAC. Professor Shalij PR, Dean Research, APJ AKTU. Professor Swaraj Kumar B, Assistant Director, LBS Center for Science and Technology. Dr. Sherin B.M., Scientist B, KSCSTE. Ms. Amrita T.P., Chairperson, College Union. Professor Praveen Krishna, Department of Aerospace Engineering, IST. Professor M.V. Rajesh, Department of Electronics Engineering, College of Engineering, Changanur. Professor N.C. Sam Matthew. Other colleagues, other officials of KSCSTE, student friends, all others who are present here, good morning. They told they know very little about this college, so I'll take 1 or 2 or 3 sentences to introduce us to our guests here. We started as first government self-financing engineering college of Kerala in 1993 with only 4 UG with an intake of 240 students. In the years later, we progressed to have double the intake of initial years with almost around 1,500 students now with the UG, PG and research students here in this college. We have progressed as with a reputation of leading institution in North Malabar area with the academic, non-academic placement records. We have 52 acres of land in this area with the individual buildings for almost all the departments in this college with the academic blocks, play spaces, and all this. So with this introduction, I start my duty. We have Professor K.P. Sir, Executive Vice President, KSCSTE, and ex officio Principal Secretary, Science and Technology Department, Government of Kerala. On behalf of all of us here, I welcome you. We have Professor Prasad, Director, on behalf of all of us here, I welcome you, sir. We have with us Professor Samson Matthew, Director, NATPAC. So I welcome our respected sir to this function. We have Professor Shalij, in research, APJ AKTU. I welcome you, sir. We have Professor Swaraj Kumar B, Assistant Director, LBS Center for Science and Technology. So I welcome you, sir. We have Professor M.V. Rajesh, Department of Electronics Engineering, College of Engineering, Chenganur. On behalf of all of us, I welcome you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Sherin BM and KSCSTE. Professor Rancy Sam Matthew. We have Professor Praveen Krishna, who will be thus online later. I welcome all to this function. We have Ms. Amrita TP, Chairperson, College Union. And the TP. And I welcome all other officials of KSCSTE, all colleagues, all student friends, and all others, whoever I missed, all others. I welcome all of you to this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, let me invite Dr. Sherin MP, scientist of KSCSTE, for a talk about National Technology Day. Ma'am, please.
Good morning. Respected Professor K.P. Sudhir, Executive Vice President KSCSTE, and the ex-officio Principal Secretary, Science and Technology Department, Government of Kerala. Professor Prasad Krishna, Director NIT Calicut. Professor Mahum Shikur, Principal LBS College of Engineering. Professor Samson Matthew, Director NATPAC. Professor Shalij PR, Dean APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. Professor Swaraj Kumar from LBS. Our distinguished speakers, Professor M.V. Rajesh and Professor Praveen Krishna, faculty members and dear students. It is indeed an honor for me to present about the National Technology Day celebrations before this August audience. National Technology Day is observed every year on May 11th across India to commemorate the achievements of engineers and scientists in the field of science and technology. National Technology Day holds great importance because on this particular day in 1998, India achieved multiple notable technological progressions. On May 11th, 1998, the country conducted 3 successful nuclear tests at the Indian Army's Pokhran Test Range under Operation Shakti. 2 more nuclear tests were conducted on May 13th, and all 3 were led by a late President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, which made India the 6th country to join the Allied Club of Nuclear Power Nations. The mission was carried out by Indian Army along with Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Baba Atomic Research Center, BARC, and Atomic Minerals Directorate for Exploration and Research, AMDER. However, that was not all the India's DRDO or the Defense Research and Development Organization achieved on May 11th. On the same day, they also tested their first indigenous aircraft, Hansa 3, and conducted a successful test firing of the Trishur missile. The Prime Minister at that time, Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, declared May 11th as the National Technology Day, as it was a day of significant achievement for the country. National Technology Day was observed for the first time on May 11th, 1999. National Technology Day is celebrated to honor technological innovations in our country and the successful deployment or commercialization, which takes the fruits of research to reach people at large. Technology Day is celebrated as a symbol of quest for scientific inquiry, technological creativity, and the translation of that quest in the integration of science, society, and industry. Every year, the Technology Development Board of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, issues the theme for the National Technology Day celebrations. The theme for NTD 2022, which was announced just a day back, is Integrated Approach in S&T for a Sustainable Future. KSCSTE has been celebrating the National Technology Day every year from 2007 onwards, except in 2020 due to the unexpected outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Last year, that is in 2021, we could not organize a physical function due to the COVID-19 restrictions. However, we organized a 5-day tech webinar series which was well received by over 600 engineering students in the state. This year, fortunately, we could arrange a physical inaugural function of the National Technology Day celebrations today at Lal Bahadur Shastri College of Engineering, Kasargode. This year also, we are organizing a 4-day webinar series as part of National Technology Day celebrations beginning from today at 4 p.m. The speakers are top technocrats at the international level, and I request all of you to attend the webinar and get benefited. Another initiative of KCST this year as part of National Technology Day celebrations is the Designathon contest, which will be announced shortly. I request all of you to take interest to participate in the Designathon also. I also request you to go through and get benefited from the schemes and programs, particularly the technology development initiatives of KCST, the details of which are printed in the notepad given to you. As the coordinator of NTD 2022 celebrations at KCST, I thank the officials at Lal Bahadur Shastri College of Engineering for readily agreeing to organize the inaugural program of National Technology Day 2022 celebrations, and also for coordinating well for its successful conduct. I also thank my senior officials at KCST, our Executive Vice President, Professor K.P. Sudhir, Member Secretary, Dr. S. Pradeep Kumar, and senior scientists for all the support and guidance they have given me for organizing NTD 2022 celebrations. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, for the presidential address, I invite Professor K.P. Sudhir, Executive Vice President, KSCSTE, and ex officio Principal, Secretary of Science and Technology Department, Government of Kerala.
Good morning, everyone. Professor Pradas Krishna, Director, NIT Calicut. Professor Samson Matthew, Director, NATPAC. Professor Shalij, Dean of Research, APJ Abdul Kalam University. Professor Swaraj, Assistant Director, LBS Center for Science and Technology. Ms. Amrita, Professor Mohammed Shakur, the Principal of the College of Engineering, LBS College of Engineering, Kasaragod. My colleague, Dr. Sherin. The speakers of the day, Professor Praveen Krishna and Professor M.V. Rajesh. The faculty members of the college, other dignitaries on and off the dais, my dear students, a very good morning to you all. Well, we are on a celebration mode after 2 years of sitting at home. We were not able to participate or actively get involved in any of these kind of activities, social gathering and other things. So it's a very good moment for all of us to rejuvenate from the past and then get into the actions which we were keeping at dormant level. And that is one of the reasons we thought we will celebrate the National Technology Day in the offline mode after 2 years. 2020, we couldn't do it. 2021, we did it on an online mode, and 2022, we decided to come to Kasargode and do it. So thanks to the college authorities who has welcomed our initiative in organizing it here. As the previous speaker said, all of you are aware that NTD is celebrated on May 11th on a special occasion which happened in 1998. India became one of the countries who had been listed to have nuclear power, which becomes, basically we are fortunate to become the superpower in future. That's the context in which they declared the National Technology Day celebrations on May 11th. But it's not only nuclear power development in the country which led to the announcement of national technology. It came as a indicative day or a day of memory. But the technological developments in the country, if you look at, there are various things. It starts from space technologies to rural technology. If you look at the technological developments that has happened after independence, there are numerous kind of things you can enlist. In fact, Government of India as well as Government of Kerala promotes various technological developments at various levels, starting from the school children to the postdoctoral program, where we support the activities in technological development, rather science and technology development, and facilitate them to come up for even product commercialization. That's the level where we are. The investments in future in science and technology is expected to go up. If you look at the science and technology sector is expected to have 2 to 3% of the GDP right now, which is likely to get increased in future, and Government of India is now taking count of how much is the money being spent by every government, every state government in the science and technology sector. And they are looking to promote more and more money to pump into the investments of science and technology. And if you look at 30 to 35 years back when I was a student, there was no opportunity or non-availability for technological developments of this kind. Everything used to be at the college or at the interest of a faculty by the student, and then they discuss each other and develop something, and it dies there. There was no second level after the technological developments or conceptual development. But now if you look at, the opportunities are unlimited. Like my advisor says, sky is the limit for you now. You conceptualize anything and there is an opportunity for you to develop that and demonstrate it. Starting from students project, I don't know how many of you are participated in the student project program being offered by the KSCSTE. I just heard that there was one of the best project award was from this college, which is appreciable. And this is what government wants. Basically, all your conceptual ideas, creative ideas have to be nurtured at the level of thinking itself, and now come up with more and more development and technology which can be used in the future for successful and comfortable living of the humankind. At the same time, not disturbing the environment, and that is more important. Disturbing the environment is going to be, you cannot develop a technology by disturbing the environment which is not going to be sustainable. So sustainable development is what is more important. I just saw the vision mission statement of the college, which says that no, sustainable development is the ultimate vision of the college, which is very much appreciated. More because when we develop technologies, we forget about environment. You look at the original civilization which you have learned in the history, all were completely sustainable. There were no environmental issues, there were no other issues coming up, and happy living. But then in the run for comfort living, we have actually spoiled our environment, and that is what we need to realize. It's not easy to rejuvenate it back to the same level, but then we need to start thinking about that. So the technological development also can be in that area. Technological development need not be only in the information technology, electronic technology and space technology alone. It can be at any level, any activity. At this context, it's worth mentioning about the Council's program, KSCSTE's program, which is available for the school children to the postgraduate researchers. I think a note on that is being circulated with the booklet which is given to you. We have, starting from 12th standard students, we have a Pratibha scholarship scheme. Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment offers a Pratibha scholarship scheme which is targeted for the brilliant students who completes the +2 and joins for science stream education. And that is being given until they do the post-graduation. If they are interested in post-graduation, we give the postgraduate fellowship as well. That is for the school children. We have National Children's Science Congress, which is for the high school and primary school students who compete with the innovative ideas at the national level. And there were several students from the state who have won the national prizes in the National Children's Science Congress. We also have different training programs organized during the vacation for the children, school children, which is being held at different national level institutes in the states, and to expose them for various kinds of activities or various kinds of research activities of the institute and elsewhere. The idea behind all these programs for the school children is, when they get exposed to a different environment, they will get triggered in their mind of something and they get motivated to pursue the higher studies. We were also discussing just now before the inaugural session started. There is again a lack of awareness of several activities and several opportunities available for the students in the state. Some cream of students are always aware of what are the opportunities available for them, but some portion of the students, for some reasons they are not available. Even though we say the technological advancements is there, we have mobile at our hand. When I was a student, there was no information. Frankly speaking, I was not aware of joint entrance examination when I was a +2 student. When it was not +2 at that time, it was pre-degree. One of my professors at the college called me one day in my second year and asked me to visit him in his office and said, "Sudhir, you need to write JEE." I asked him frankly, "Sir, what is JEE?" Then he took me an hour of class about JEE, what are IITs, and what are the opportunities for IIT graduates and other thing. Naturally, you get motivated and write JEE, but then JEE is not a 1 month preparation. JEE is a preparation dedicated for at least a year or so. And I failed miserably in that. I did not get in JEE. I wrote JEE, but I did not get through JEE. But then that triggered something in my mind, that if there is an institute of this kind, we should find out an opportunity to learn there or study there. Fortunately, after my BTech, I could get an opportunity to do masters there and also a PhD in one of the IITs. And finally, I ended up in a faculty as in one of the IITs. So my point is, when somebody introduces you about an opportunity or a activity which you can perform, I am pretty sure that there is a trigger in your mind, a motivation gets into your mind, then you basically thrive for that. And this is what I think Dr. Abdul Kalam said, you have to dream. You have to dream of whatever is your vision and achievement, and you work for that. And when you have a dream, you basically work towards that. And that is what is basically making you to live in life and achieve your goals. And I have seen several of the students coming up to higher levels of probably managerial capacity and faculty level capacity just because of they have been consistently pursuing their dream and they work sincerely and effectively for that. And I guess all of you will also do the similar thing so that all of you come to the higher levels at whatever way you want to achieve. I also have a personal feeling that 35 years back, I was a student and sitting on the other side of the program when these kind of programs were arranged in a college, in my college. It's a pleasant moment now. You basically sit on the other side and speak to the students. Now I realize those people who came and told all of us about the activities and opportunities available to us, and that has helped us in getting into different activities, exploring different opportunities and getting into different levels. And I'm pretty sure that the experienced faculty members who are sitting here on the dais, when they share their vision to you, please listen to them carefully and take note of each and every opportunity which is available for you and try to tap on that. I don't want to extend my speech. I just wanted to give you a suggestion that whenever there is an opportunity at knocking your door, please open your door and try to basically explore what is the possibility. And don't think that all the opportunities will come and knock at your door. You need to go and find out. That is also important. We should have an initiation to identify and get an opportunity available for us. I have seen several students sitting at home and doing nothing. When I meet, Last year, I think few months back, I was in a place in Karnataka. I saw a student selling coffee at a function hall, and I asked her, "What were you?" And she said, "I did my BTech. BTech civil engineering." I mean, when she said civil engineering, I was a little interested in knowing why she is sitting at home. She said, "Nobody is giving me a job." I asked her, "Did you go and find out if there are opportunities in around?" And she said, "No, if there is a job, my brother will say or my father will say, then I'll go and apply for that." This should not be the attitude. When there is an opportunity, you have to go and find out. You have to go and knock at every door and find out what are the opportunities available. Please don't only depend on your faculty and the college for your career development. Because your career development also depends on your own investment and interest. That's the only piece of suggestion I wanted to give you, and I don't want to extend it anymore. I would do, and at this point, I would also once again thank the LBS College of Engineering authorities and Professor Prasad for accepting our invitation to inaugurate this function. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. Next, with my whole heart, let me invite Professor Professor Prasad Krishna, Director of NIT Calicut, for the inauguration by lighting the lamp and for the keynote address. So please.
Professor K.P. Sudhir, Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Kerala, and Executive Vice President, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. Professor Muhammad Shekur, the Principal of the LBS College of Engineering, Kasargode, Professor Samson Matthew, Director NATPAC, Professor Shalij, Dean Research, APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, Professor Swaraj Kumar, Assistant Director of this college, Dr. Sherin, Scientist from the Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, Professor M.V. Rajesh from the Department of Electronics, College of Engineering, Chengalpattu, faculty, staff and students of LBS College and other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, namaste to all. First of all, I am honored and privileged to address you on this auspicious National Technology Day, where we are all proud of the remarkable achievements of our nation, where none of the countries could get even an iota of that India is going to have this Pokhran test. In spite of all the technological advancements and radars everywhere, there was no clue that India is going to do that. Nobody could believe that India could do that. And today, we have come to a stage where the entire world is looking at youngsters like you. Because the strength of our country is in the young population. All of you know, we have this demographic dividend. And the entire dream, as Sudhir sir has just mentioned, we have to dream high. And the entire promise, the energy of the youth, the promise of this country, the dream of this nation is with you youngsters. And there are opportunities, as sir has mentioned the examples of somebody wandering here and there. Today you have the entire World Wide Web. What is happening in Finland or Trinidad or in Indonesia or a remote corner in Madurai, the entire information is at your fingertips. It is in the cloud. Somebody says, everything is in the cloud. It is for people who have the passion. You should have the passion and interest. Then the whole world is before you. In fact, if you really go deeper into spirituality, the entire universe is within you. One has to explore. If you have the time, if you have the passion, and if you have the willpower, you can unfold that universe which is within you. Friends, I'm extremely happy. Even students from LBS College could award the prestigious, the project award, the best BTech project. And this is indeed a great, let's give them a big hands of applause, because we are not comparing like IITs or the NITs where they are blessed with all kind of impressive academic and physical infrastructure, and you have so many limitations. In spite of that, you could achieve this. And please don't limit there. Go forward. Today, if you have an idea and you want to take it to a next level, please approach. There are many, and I'm extremely happy. This Science and Technology Council and Environment is, to my understanding, is one of the best performing among all the states. I can proudly say that this is supporting so much of research activities for the youth of the country, and I request every one of you, if you have an idea, please discuss with your mentor, your seniors, your faculty advisors, and please don't be, shy and find out. There are avenues, and I am sure KSCSTE will promote that, support you, and you can take it in case it can result into a startup. And you have seen the Kerala Startup Mission who is going in. You have seen the open fintech from this state. How many of you have heard about open fintech? Anybody, our students? Have you heard about their story? Our own Malayalis have made us proud. How many of you know you have Yusuf Ali of the Lulu group? You must know. You must read. You must understand. If you're not in the habit of reading newspapers, that may be very rare these days, but at least the whole web, when you have this great gadget with you, the mobile phone, you have the entire information at your fingertips. Please understand, the people of this small state have now contributed. So when this, our own people can come out with $1 billion, 1,000 crores enterprise in the elite group of young startups, why not you? Tomorrow is your day, and I'm sure you can make it. But only thing is, opportunities are there everywhere. But either you miss the opportunity, or unfortunately, you misuse the opportunity. Only these two things are, if I understand, only these two things. Many times we misuse the opportunity, which is very, very unfortunate. So I request you, and why do we celebrate such technology day? Engineers Day, we have commemorating Sir Mokshakundam Vishweshwaraya's Day. Science Day for our own great Nobel laureate, Dr. C.V. Raman. So we have like this, days are there. Mom's Day, Father, just now over Mother's Day. Is that the only day you remember your mother? Like the Westerners, you Americans. Mommy, I love you. Father's Day. For everybody has a day. St. Patrick's Day, this day, that day, I don't know. Valentine's Day. All. What is the significance of Technology Day? Please remember, when you celebrate your dear one's birthday, or these kind of events, the most important, be grateful to those scientists and technologies and engineers who have made our country proud, and because of whom, whether it is Homi J. Baba, Vikram Sarabhai, all these great people, our life is much comfortable and safe. Our country is safe now. Today, you know, most of the advanced nation, the head of those governments, whether the Prime Minister or President, they are knocking at the doors of India. Gone are the days at the time of 98 when we did this Pokhran test. Today all nations are knocking at the door of India. So is it not a great moment? If you can't do it, this is the only moment for you to perform. Entire Europe and US, they have on India because the knowledge, the India was the Vishwa Guru, and we are to the world that we can do it. And do you know, every day some head of the nation is visiting India. Please understand, be proud of our own. We have been one of the most achieved nation. For some reason, we became, slavery to all that. And now we are regaining our past glory, and I'm sure this is the moment. Only thing, you should know that you have the inner strength with you, and please make use of that. But not at the cost of environmental degradation. I'm happy this is also not just Science and Technology Council. Environment is very important. I don't know how many of you know about Sustainable Development Goals, where India is also a signatory to that. There are 17 goals for this. Every country has to, including the gender, the equity, women empowerment, water, energy, health, safety, all these are important. And I feel ashamed that even a state like Kerala is facing water shortage. It is because of us. We have not, or whether it is the political, they don't have the, I don't know the reason. I still cannot understand when a state like Kerala, which is blessed with, the nature has blessed everything, why do we ever face water shortage? Are we not having engineers, scientists? What are we supposed to do as engineers? Please remember the famous quote by Theodore von Karman, who has been telling, engineers create that which never existed before, whereas scientists investigate that already available in nature. Engineers create that never existed before. So please remember, engineering is the most creative of all professions, and we are supposed to create new things. So please, your critical and creative thinking skills are the most important. So, and how do you develop that? There is no curriculum. There are no teachers who are going to tell you. You have to get on to that. It's like learning bicycle. No amount of video show, or you say this is a pedal, this is a sprocket. You can't learn bicycle by reading a book or seeing a YouTube video. You need to get on to the bicycle and ride it and learn. The same way, you have to take risks, you have to get on to the project, and the information is there, and I'm sure you will make good engineers, but without causing damage to the environment. And I conclude by recalling Swamiji's statement to humanity. Swami Vivekananda, as our Sudhir sir just mentioned, all of us, whether we are engineers, doctors, or whatever profession we are, we have an obligation to this planet. We have to leave this planet a better place for the generations. That is the best thing we should do. If not, Swamiji says, please leave it as it is. When you are born into this planet, you have seen this ecosystem of this planet. And I'm sure even in your time of 30, 40 years, you are seeing flash flood, landslides, earthquakes, tsunami, whatnot. Isn't it? Even your own in the last 40 years, you are seeing sudden there is temperature rise, untimely rainfall, many things are happening. Who has created this mess? No animal. Only the greed of the human being. They have created this mess. Nature never punishes anybody. Nature is the best conservator, and nature is only responding to the greed of this human being who thinks they only can enjoy this planet. This planet is for all creatures, all animals, chara achara. And if you continue this greed, there will be disaster for the generations. So I urge you, it is always good to be innovative, creative, and make our life better, but not our life, the life of other beings too. And remember once again what Swamiji told, let us give this planet something more. Leave it. If you can leave it as it is, itself is a great gift to this planet. If you can make it better, that is the duty of our engineers. Wish you all the best. And once again, I am grateful to Professor Sudhir and the entire LBS College for giving this opportunity. Wish you all the best on this National Technology Day, and be proud of the achievements of our great nation. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much for your words, sir. Next, I invite Professor Samson Matthew, Director of NATPAC, for special address and the announcement of Designathon contest.
Very good morning to all of you. President of the function, Professor K.P. Sudhir. The chief guest of this function, Professor Prasad Krishna. Professor Shalji P.R. Professor Suraj Kumar. Principal Mohammed Shakur. our organizer, Dr. Sherin, Ms. Amrita, Professor Rensi Sam, Professor Praveen Krishna, Professor M.V. Rajesh, my dear students, faculty of LBS, warm greetings to all of you. As Professor Sudhir, as well as Professor Prasad mentioned, we are here to celebrate the National Technology Day to commemorate the achievements of scientists, researchers, engineers, and all others involved in the field of science and technology. The significance of the day and the date, they have already explained, and we are celebrating the series of technological advancements and achievements the country we achieved on the day decades earlier. We are all in a generation, especially you people, where everything is dependent on technology. The Technology Development Board decided the theme of this year National Technology Day as integrated approach in science and technology for a sustainable future. Just now, both the speakers, they mentioned about the need of the integration of both technology as well as science. And beyond that, Professor Prasad as well as Professor Sudhir mentioned the need of the sustainable development. Sustainable development goal and the need of the sustainable action plan for our survival. I'm very happy to hear from the authorities, the LBS principal and the faculty, that you have created 2 check dams in this campus, and that check dam is not only helping the campus residents, but even beyond that one, like the groundwater is improved and people around the campus is all benefited with this this technology or the check dams. Now, see, these are all some examples where we can demonstrate that one to the society, and probably you can help the society. It's a good work, and I should appreciate the listener work that you have done. And as I mentioned, today is the era with technology, and I can see that when most of you are using the cell phone. When we were studying or when we were started our career and all, it was only a dream. Probably I started using this cell phone only in the year 2002 or so. And now everything is with you. The entire world is with you. Fine. And you have internet, you have high-tech cars, you have your watch, everything is the advanced watches are available with you. You will get a lot of information, your the health, or maybe your nearness senses, everything is there. So, and in last 2 years, you would have seen the entire the movement or the country's movement was shocked or stopped because of the pandemic. And only because of the technological development only we could survive in the last 2 years. Starting from the KG classes or the first standard classes to the PhD level courses, they are all happening through the online mode. And because of technology, we were forced to adopt that technology. And of course, both the sides are there. Whether it is good for the students or that is good for the faculty, or whether whether we are totally adapted to that one and all, it's a question, or it can be a point for debate. but the technology helped us. And now you can see that one, the development of information technology and IT outsources, we should see that one. Why the developed countries are there looking to India? Just now, Professor Prasad was mentioning, everybody is looking to India. Why? Because the resources and the materials are available here. Beyond that one, they are getting, or the human resources at a relatively cheaper cost is available here. So everybody is looking, and the good opportunities are there. As previous speakers mentioned, we should the opportunities are there. We should equip ourselves, and we should go and in search of that opportunities, and definitely your future will be very bright. And another area, again, the biotechnological growth. You would have seen, when that pandemic has struck our life, we have seen that one. In India developed own vaccine, that development. And now probably 70% or 80% of the population is completely vaccinated. There are the centers which are now developing or they are already developed, and even in Kerala also as a part of our advanced virology institute. The park is coming where these vaccines are going to develop, okay, or to produce. So these are all some the technological development which we have seen even in the COVID pandemic time. Coming to the technology for the education, as Prasad sir mentioned, because of your mobile or the device with you have, with the fast internet, everything is coming to you. You have the freedom, or you have the facility, or the circumstance or the environment to get any information at your place. But our question before us is, are we using this information for the benefit of the society? This is what I just wanted to mention. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen or participated in the national level hackathons. Probably it started somewhere in 2016-17. Both we had the hardware hackathon, started with the hardware hackathon, and then software hackathon were also happened. And even the international level the hackathons were also happened, in which the problems were identified in such a way that which are more relevant to the society or for the current the generation or the activities which the government, whether the central government or the state government, it is looking for. And you can see that when there are good number of problems you can identify, whether it is related to the agriculture, whether it is related to the health, or whether it is related to the education, whether it is related to the technology and all. A good number of problems or the problems you can identify, and from your the knowledge or from your skill, from your technological background, and from your the resources which are available with you, you can identify a solution for these problems. With this, with the background, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, that is KSCSTE, in association with APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, is organizing a design-a-thon contest for the students of engineering colleges in Kerala as part of the National Technology Day 2022 celebrations. Design-a-thon 2022. The topics for the contest are carbon neutral engineering designs and bio-inspired engineering designs. Two topics are there. One is the carbon neutral engineering designs, and second is bio-inspired engineering designs. The contest is instituted to encourage innovation among the budding engineers and to motivate them to find solutions to issues around them. The price is very attractive. An amount of rupees 1 lakh is instituted as the first prize and will be distributed in the inaugural function of the Kerala Science Congress happening the next year. The winners will also be given direct entry to either the Technological Development and Adoption Program, TDAP, or the APJ Abdul Kalam Youth Challenge Program, APJ YCP of KSCSTE for financial support for further upgradation as per the guidelines of Council for Science, Technology and Environment. So this is a good opportunity for the engineers. Just now, Sudhir sir as well as Prasad was mentioning, you have to go and knock the door. You should use the opportunity. Should not miss the opportunity. This is a good opportunity. See, you will be getting almost around 6 months' time or more, because next Science Congress is happening only 22 January. You have 6 months' time, but you should identify a good topic or problem in this area, and there are 3 steps. Other I will explain the 3 steps, and probably you can get some idea to which is coming under these 2 broad areas, and accordingly you can work. The contest will be held in a phased manner. The first phase, the team members should upload conceptual design, technical feasibility and scope of the application. The second phase, the shortlisted teams have to submit detailed design, methodology, economic feasibility and social relevance of the project. So while you are selecting the topic, you should keep that one in your mind, that it should be a feasible one. It should give you a techno-economic feasible solution, and it should have a social relevance. The teams qualified to the second phase are advised to identify and collaborate with an industry which would benefit from their design. Fine. This is more important because we don't want to keep that one at the concept stage alone. We can take that one further forward. We can have an association with an industry so that the product will be taken to the market or to the industry, and it will be distributed for the benefit of the society. In the third phase, the applicants have to develop a working prototype of the system in mind, and financial assistance for a maximum of about rupees 15,000 shall be provided for prototype development. The best project from the third phase will be bestowed with the awards. So this is the brief about Design-thon 2022. And see that in this case, you require a mentoring system also. Either the institute or maybe the council will arrange the mentors for that one. I have seen from my experience that mentoring is very important because your concept may be at a very, very premature level. And to develop that one, you require somebody who is experienced in that area, either in the academic field or maybe in the industry field, so that collectively this idea can be developed. It can be formed into a better product type, or the product level, and it can be through an industry. We can publicize this one. Okay. So my best wishes to all of you, and please participate that one in this contest. Be a part of that one. Don't leave that one here. I know that one. People will be, or the students will be busy with the examination, the coursework, assignments, etc., and all. Okay. And that's why the national level contest, what they did is 5 days, 24 hours, they will be working together in one place and doing that one. Probably that model also you can do that one, so that the product will be finally you'll be achieving it. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, let me invite Professor Charlotte P.R., Dean Research, APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, for the felicitation. Sir, please.
Respected Professor K.P. Sudhir, Executive Vice President, KSCSTE, Professor Prasad Krishna, Director, NIT Calicut, Professor Samson Matthew, Director, NADPAC, Professor Swaraj Kumar, Assistant Director, LBS Center for Technology, Ms. Amrita, Chairperson of College Union, Dr. Shareen, Scientist B, KSSTE, and Principal Professor Mohammed Shakur, my dear students and faculty members. So today we are celebrating the Technology Day, National Technology Day. If you look at the technology, you will be able to see that what technology does to us. Technology has made our life happier, life easier, isn't it? That is, the quality of life has improved. So if I say like this, so when I told my children that I used to walk around 2 kilometers a day for going to school and coming back another 2 kilometers, the question I have received was that those days there was no autos, right? Now, if I say the same thing to the younger generation, what they will ask me is that, I suppose, they will ask, there was no Uber those days? So these changes have happened because of the evolution of technology. We have to understand, I must understand that all these are due to changes in technology. So that is what technology has done to us. Actually, the evolution of mankind happened due to the evolution of, or hand in hand with the evolution of technology. If you look at the invention of wheels, steam engines, then industrial revolution, computers, internet, and Industry 4.0, where we have reached now, all this have happened due to the evolution of technology. And what of this technology done to us? Our life expectancy has increased, isn't it? You might have heard of people dying at the age of 30. Swazirinal died at very early age. But now the life expectancy has increased. We all know that life expectancy have increased, and we at Kerala are at par with the developed nations. Then we have done the space travel. There are space tourism evolved. Then the weather forecast, we are able to forecast, weather forecasts are accurate nowadays compared to earlier days. And healthcare and modern medicine are improved. All these are due to advancements in technology. Then in the power sector and IT sectors, all these we have seen tremendous increase in the use of technology or tremendous developments in the technology itself. But if you look at it, is that enough? So if you look whether is that enough? Sir was mentioning about the sustainable development goals. So if you look at the sustainable development goals, I will just go into some of these goals just to see, identify where we are now. Since Sir has already discussed about or been told about that, where are we now in terms of technology, use of technology or development of technology? Just see this. UN has spelled out these goals, the sustainable development goals, in the year 2015. So UN, if you remember, UN has started, United Nations has started immediately after the World War, 1945, and now in 2015 only they are able to spell out the sustainable development goals. So many years have passed by. Now they realize that sustainable development is required, and they have created certain goals. There are 17 of them. Idea is to achieve these goals by the end of 2030. Achieve these goals by the end of 2030, and UN has requested all the members, all the countries, urged all the countries, irrespective of developing or developed countries, to attain these goals. by the year 2030. See, I will just read some of the, initial 6 goals. There are 17 goals. First one is, if you laugh at it, no poverty. Still, they are talking about poverty. No poverty. Second one is no hunger. Third goal, good health. Fourth one, quality education. Fifth one, gender equality. Sixth one is clean water. Still, all these goals are lying there. We have not achieved, we are not going to internet or things like that. Yes, of course, the remaining goals are there. But initial 6 goals remains where it has started. The 6th one, clean water, the initiative which you have done in your college by installing check dams, is one of the initiative towards clean water. Of course, it goes in hand with sustainable development goals. Now, you can see that sustainable development, we have a long way to go. These issues are still there. UN is still listing all this. By the end of 2030 only, we'll be able to achieve this. That is the plan initially. That was the plan. Whether we'll be able to achieve that, we require technology to achieve this. So that is the part the technology has to play. Technology has to play its part to achieve these goals. So all the projects, all the research works, most of them shall be directed towards achieving these goals. Isn't it? So do you have the role? Then you will be able to identify yourself. You have a role to play. All the engineering students, technology students have a role to play in achieving this. If you look at these goals. Yes. And you have to be the proponents of technical education. When somebody asks you, should I pursue technical education? You have to say, yes, you have to. It's an area. We require people to develop technologies. And these technologies may not be that cutting-edge technology, things like that. These require effort from people like us. To achieve these goals, we require efforts from people like us to carry out research, project works in these areas, and contribute towards achieving these goals. As I said, only the technology can play important roles. So our roles as a student, as well as a teacher, we have to identify ourselves as a person who is contributing towards achievement of these goals. And these goals are meant for advancement of human being, well-being of human being itself. So with these words, I conclude my talk on this. I am happy to be a part of this function because, in fact, KSSTE along with APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University is organizing this function. There are technical talks during this week. Please do register for these courses. You might have registered this. It's an online program of 40 minutes of duration. So every day we have planned that you might have received the email to register for this. And I sincerely wish the program organized by KSSTE and KTU a grand success. Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I cordially invite Professor M.V. Rajesh, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics Engineering, College of Engineering, Chenganur, to felicitate the gathering.
Respected President of today's meeting, Professor K.P. Sudhir, respected NIT Director, Professor Prasad Krishna, Professor Muhammad Shukur, the Principal of LBS College of Engineering, Dr. Sherin, Professor Shalich PR, the Dean, Professor Swaraj Kumar, Professor Sam Matthew, Director of NATPAC, Professor Praveen Krishna, Professor Resni, the Student Representative Amrita, and the entire members of Team LBS, who has shown a very enthusiastic initiative in hosting the National Technology Day. I would like to first of all salute the entire student community for now learning technology is not to sleep, right? It is a rare meeting in which we got a series of speakers, and I am happy to see that the young engineers, very beautiful and handsome engineers, are live even now. And don't see that it's a never-ending serial. This is probably the last speech and the vote of thanks what is remaining. And I personally feel like a very fortunate guy, not you, me. This is because I'll be killing you in 2 sessions today. One is this, and the other one is called an invited talk. This is not invited, right? Very dangerous. So, in that, we will be trying to share certain ideas on these keywords. These are the keywords for the story today. National Technology Day, technology, education, sustainability. We will try to frame certain stories out of that. That mainly in the second part of this. And I am sure that by that time you will be recharged with tea and snacks, fortunately. So that is what is going to happen. And when we think seriously about the National Technology Day celebrations, I would like to start with what the NIT director was rightly pointing out. India, especially, has a very increased responsibility in dealing with the ideas of National Technology Day and these messages very seriously. This is because, and I'm happy to see that the LBS team has conceived the idea of National Technology Day. It's not a one-day celebration, it is basically a lifestyle. And you adopted technologies starting from your paper pen to this mat made up of, I don't know the English for this was the timing, pala, right? And as the NATPAC director has pointed out, the check dam concept, so you have a culture of thinking about sustainability, eco-friendly development, etc. So congratulations for that. Then the responsibility of India especially is because of the fact that we are the youngest country in the world in the next 10 years for sure. Youngest country means it is the demographic dividend that the director was pointing out. India is going to be the country with the largest number of youngsters in the age group of 18 to 32, around 500,000 plus in the next 10 years. So this is the responsibility. I'm coming to that. And as usual, the immediate competitor was China. For everything, our immediate competitor is China, isn't it? But you know, in China, there was strict birth control processes. And if any couple wish to have a second child, they want to apply to the government. The government will review the application and will see that a permission will be given only if both the parents were single child of their parents. Otherwise, government will arrive at a conclusion that they have the tendency to produce more children and will not be given permission. But in India, fortunately, we thought that, even now we are thinking that, children are the gift of God. Gift means there is no number, right? So we know the technology is better, and because of that, all of you are here with us today. So this is the responsibility. Actually, as the NIT director has pointed out, the entire world, especially after the COVID situation, is looking to India, not only for other kind of strategic relationships, but also to kidnap you all. Because the world wants quality manpower. And India is the only country which can provide that much of quality manpower. And in education, because of that, we are all basically trying to train you and get you out of the organization as industry for ready. That is the word in the veranda. Industry for ready. And this quality manpower development has become a very important responsibility of India because this is the youngest country. And every, youngsters coming out of our campuses or training institute should be equipped so that they are readily deployable across any part of the globe. That is the responsibility of India. And in that context that we are thinking about the National Technology Day, and try to conceive great ideas of how sustainability, the very good concept of sustainability, could be implemented throughout the life. And today, as the Dean has pointed out, there are 17 SDGs, Sustainability Development Goals by the UN. And in that, I'll be just concentrating on the education, training, and education for sustainable development, ESD, today. Okay, after the T, of course. And this demographic responsibility, we should, implement correctly, and that is the overall meaning of this entire celebration, basically. And especially this is very relevant nowadays because of the NEP, National Education Policy 2020. After around 32 years of time, the government of India is trying for a holistic approach and change in the entire education system in the country. Of course, we can discuss the politics, everything related to that, but this is happening after around 32 years. That is a fact. And surprisingly, we are all talking about Industry 1, Industry 2, and what is the current Industry 4. Fortunately or unfortunately, we don't have any such talk about education. We never heard about education 1, 2, 3, or 4. The same old system is supplying manpower for Industry 4. So there is a gap, definitely. How we can address it, especially through the very important concept of sustainability, etc. I am a member of IEEE, a world organization, and we talk about advancing technology for humanity. This is the core of it. So many issues are there when especially pervasive and disruptive technologies are coming into all of us. So we cannot live without the mobile phone, right? Even now I was just trying to, this is what is usually happening in classrooms, right? Trying to see whether my good friend Srinivas Pai is somewhere here. I WhatsApped because the meeting is too long, right? And he said to me that I am right in front of you, sir, I am enjoying it. And we had some communication each other. So disruptive technologies, new approaches, new education policy, technology for humanity. We will think about all these aspects after the tea, right? I would like to congratulate the entire LBS team and the APJ-KTU and KSCSTE for conceiving this great idea and planning to release it in front of the engineering students at this extreme end of the state. This is a new beginning. As the respected Vice Chairman has pointed out, KSST is planning to reach to people at remote places especially, not to Kasargode, everywhere, interior states, and they are trying to convey this message of technology, probably a scientific lifestyle, I think. That is what they are planning. And they have a couple of good programs to support the faculty and students also. At least from today onwards, I request you to visit the website of KSCSTE, NATPAC, etc., and see what are the possibilities. They were all talking about that. With these few words, let me once again congratulate the entire team for this wonderful program and thank the students for your very, very wonderful kind of a corporation in the inaugural ceremony. Thank you very much. The story is never ending. We will continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, let me invite Professor Swaraj Kumar B., Assistant Director, LBS Center of Science and Technology, for the felicitation.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues, friends, my dear students. I'm very much delighted to be amongst this distinguished gathering to celebrate the National Technology Day organized by Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment in association with APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. This day is commemorate the second nuclear test of India in 1998, May 11. Our scientists, engineers, and all supporting staff, under the guidance of our former President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, had done this nuclear test without giving a hint to the spy satellites which are revolving around us. And I would like to mention only one point, that is the importance of research in technology development. That is, the end result or the fruits of our technological advancements must also reach the common man, because that is the only way in which we can make every citizen of India a productive participant in India's growth story. And all the higher education institutions must encourage the research work, especially in engineering colleges, must encourage the research works. And I also request the government or the government agencies like Council for Science, Technology and Environment must support the research scholars, at least by increasing the financial assistance, number of financial assistance to the scholars. And this National Technology Day symbolizes India's quest for scientific inquiry, technological creativity and innovations, and the integration of these developments into national socio-economic benefits and global presence. So on this occasion, on behalf of LBS Center for Science and Technology, I extend my best wishes to the entire science and technology fraternity in their mission to develop a strong indigenous technology base. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, to felicitate the gathering, I invite Ms. Amrita TP, Chairperson, College Union.
Good morning all. Professor Prasad Krishna, Director NIT Calicut. Professor KP Sudhir, Executive Vice President KSCSTE and ex officio Principal Secretary Science and Technology Department, Government of Kerala. Professor Samson Matthew, Director NATPAC. Professor Shalish Pia, Dean Research APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. Professor M.V. Rajesh, Professor of College of Engineering, Chenganur. Professor Swaraj Kumar B, Assistant Director, LBS Center Science and Technology. Professor Muhammad Shakuti, Principal of LBS College, and other dignitaries and dear students. As we all know, we are gathered here for the celebration of National Technology Day. This day reminds us about the years when India has achieved a breakthrough to the technological field. We should be aware of that. The major motive of this program is to bring up about the importance of technology and to provide an inspiration for the youngsters to come more into the technological field and making more innovations. Yet another thing that makes special this occasion is this guest present here who has put forward their interest and effort towards this vision. And being the chairperson of this college, I'm very happy and grateful to know that such a prominent event is happening here. And I guarantee all my effort and support to bring up this vision into our college, and I hope that the upcoming youth can come more into the technological field and flourish and help to flourish and grow more for our nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amrita. Next, let me invite Professor Renzi Sam Matthew, Assistant Professor of LBS College of Engineering, for the vote of thanks. Sir, please.
respected dignitaries on this dais, respected colleagues, respected and my dear students. I'm honored to propose the vote of thanks for the inauguration of the National Technology Day 2022 organized by KSCSTE in association with KTU in our institution. In fact, as we all shared, as our principal shared, we are going to enter into our 30th year of our existence. And our students have risen to great heights in various fields, in academic, as well as in government, in research, and entrepreneurship also. In fact, we have a list of 50 entrepreneurships initiated by our institution itself. Like I want to highlight like Foradian, which designed the phone sign for the nation. And in fact, KSCSTE has been always been a support to our institution. And in fact, we are very privileged that you have selected our institution for hosting this program. So we are in fact very grateful to KSCSTE. And our students, Apna, Anusri, Chaitra, and Saumya, in fact, they were under my guidance, and they won the bronze prize for the Tech Fest 2021. So thank you for that award. And KSCSTE has sponsored our conference, international conference in 2019, international conference in advanced computing and security, which was hosted by our institution. And in fact, many of our faculty are received as students SPS, that is student project schemes, in fact, in the past years and also in the current years. So we are very grateful to KSCSTE for all the support, motivation given to our students and faculty. And we are also grateful to KTU also, because we have received, KTU, as we all know, APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University is very part and parcel of the life of this campus. And in fact, we have received several fundings for the projects, as well as for the faculty development programs conducted in our institution in the last 2 years. So with this brief outline, I want to enter into my responsibility. We are very grateful for the distinguished guests who have assembled here. We want to thank Professor Dr. KP Sudhir, who is the Principal Secretary and Executive Vice President of KSCSTE. Once again, thank you, sir, for coming over here and being a part of this function. Thank you, sir. NIT Calicut Director, Dr. Prasad Krishna, sir, was kind enough to accept the invitation and come and join this program. Sir, many of our faculty are, in fact, products of NIT Calicut. They are our alumni, as well as our faculty have done post-graduation and doctorate studies in NIT Calicut. So in fact, in that way, we have great cooperation, and we look forward for future cooperation also. So thank you, sir, for inaugurating this program and joining this function. I want to thank Professor Samson Matthew, sir, who is the director of NATPAC, for accepting the invitation and joining this program. Thank you for all the nice words you observed about our institution and commented about it. Thank you, sir, for joining, and as well as for the inauguration of the Designathon program. Thank you, sir. I want to thank Shalit, sir, who is the Dean Research, APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. Sir has, in fact, we were expecting our Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. M.S. Rajasri Miss, but in her absence, we want to thank her, and as well as thank you, sir, for joining this program and raising this occasion. Thank you, sir. We have 2 distinguished invited talks waiting for us by Professor Praveen Krishna, sir, and Professor M.V. Rajesh, sir. So we are, because they are all going to speak on various interesting topics like the science of Indian percussion instruments and the post-COVID education. We are looking forward to the talks. So thank you both the sirs. Praveen Krishna sir is joining us online, and M.V. Rajesh sir is already here. So I want to thank both of them, especially M.V. Rajesh sir, who is the IEEE Signal Processing Chair and the Vice Chair of the Cochin subsection. So thank you, sir. In fact, we are also having a wonderful active IEEE branch, and you are already in touch with us. Thank you, sir, for joining. I want to thank our director in absence for all the support which he has taken. In fact, when we first knew about this program, he directly called and instructed us to conduct the program in a very wonderful way. So thank you, Abdul Rahman sir, in your absence. And we have Professor Swaraj Kumar B sir with us, who is the Assistant Director, LBS Center for Science and Technology. So thank you, sir, for joining the program. Our principal, Dr. Mohammad Shukur sir, has always been the key person motivating us and directing us for the successful execution of this program. He has always been with us and given us the necessary guidance. Thank you, sir, for all your support. A special word of appreciation to KSCSTE officials, Dr. Sherin Ben and Mr. Royce, who were the principal organizers from the KSCSTE side. They have visited us, they guided us, they monitored everything, and were giving all the directions for the arrangements. Thank you, all the KSCSTE officials. In fact, Rajesh sir observed two things. I want to comment about both the things. We have a wonderful paper pen given to us. In fact, we were very careful in ensuring that such products should be available for this program. In fact, this was applied to us by Renjini, Mrs. Renjini. And in fact, she is a disabled person. She is from Kilimanur and Kerala, Trivandrum. And she is focusing on making this paper pen. So we thought this would be a support for her also. So in fact, thank you, Mrs. Renjini, for this paper pen. And in fact, the Pala Cup, which we have, in fact, we have a discussion with the KDISC under One District, One Idea program. In fact, that team, we had a discussion with them, and they only supplied us this covering for this cups. So thank you, thanks for noting that, sir, and thanks to them also. I want to thank all the deans of the college, Dr. Praveen Kodot sir, Vinod George sir, and Abu Bakar Gadangal sir, for all the help and advice given to us. And my words would have been meaningless if I forget the cooperation of all the staff and students of this institution. There are many staff and faculty who have worked very hard so that this program would be a success. Though I am not mentioning any names, I thank all the faculty, technical staff, and administrative staff who helped and worked for the success of the program. I'm grateful to the College Union Chair Amrita and members and all the student volunteers who are participating in this program. I want to thank all the media coverage, the photography and the videography team, and all those who supported us in this endeavor. And there are two coordinators for this program, myself and Professor Asim K of EEE department. So on behalf of both of us, we want to thank all of you for joining and partaking in this program. Thank you, one and all. We are blessed by the blessings of Almighty God, and which is always with us. And this program is also a blessing from Him. Thank you, and thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. With that, we come to the end of the inaugural session. I invite Veena Surendran and Gobika T for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विदाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशिष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
After the break, we have two sessions. One, a talk on the science of Indian percussion instruments by Professor Praveen Krishna, and yet another talk on post-COVID education and sustainable development by Professor M.V. Rajesh. So I request you all to gather back here within 10 minutes after the break. Thank you. We are providing tea and snacks for every participants and honorable guest. So I request you to stay back here and have the break later on. We are providing the snacks and tea on the right side of the stage, so I request you to gather on that side. I repeat, we are providing the tea and snacks on the right side of the stage, so I request you all to gather on that side.
ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. അടുത്ത സെഷൻ ആരംഭിക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. ചായ കഴിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം തിരിച്ച് ആംഫി തിയേറ്ററിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവരും കയറിയിരിക്കണമെന്ന്
Dr. M.V. Rajesh. Dr. M.V. Rajesh is currently the Associate Professor, Department of Electronics, College of Engineering, Chenganur. He is the chair of the IEEE Kerala Signal Processing Society. He is affiliated to several other professional societies such as Institution of Engineers, India, Institution of Electronics and Communication Engineers, Computer Society of India, and Indian Society for Technical Education. He has authored several papers in international referred journals and conferences. He is a member of several academic committees and committees at the government level. I cordially invite Professor M.V. Rajesh for a talk on post-COVID education and sustainable development. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you once again. At times technology fails, right, for our benefit. So I will not be boring you too much with a lot of PPT because I recently have come across an article titled How PPT Kills Creativity. But anyway, for the time being, we don't have, that light is, if it is annoying, I don't know. Okay. You are all looking very bright, very good. even though you are sitting hungry because of the lighting. That's good. So these are certain random thought process only as a teacher in technical education for the past couple of years. And you know, as I said at the beginning, because of the demographic dividend that the country has got, we have some responsibility in thinking seriously about education. Everybody is interested in education here. And when we think about education in detail, so many aspects are there: technical education, women empowerment, sustainability, etc. And we know that especially when we think about sustainable development, particularly, the education of children is very, very important. Even now in a very advanced society like ours, the recent news are not that good on the girl child education and related. I'm not going into the details, but you know the things. So therefore, under these challenges that we are thinking about education in detail. Next slide, please. Okay, that is enough. I think that full screen has got some issues. So my thought process is, and you know all these slides are cut and paste. Assignment with front page changed. That is what we usually do, right? Because these are all ideas put forwarded by the United Nations and UNESCO. They are extensively talking about the very particular topic of education for sustainable development, ESD. So that's the only area I am just trying to concentrate today, because connected to this topic, we have numerous areas to be discussed. Anyway, we are in a battle for our lives, but it's a battle we win. That is why, this is because we have multiple challenges. When technology grows like this, for example, if you think about the situation that we live in, everything around us are very smart. Am I right? Your mobile phone is very smart. Your computer is very smart. And the government and even LBS is saying that classrooms are very smart, right? Probably except some of us, everything else around us are very, very smart or even over smart. So this is a very particular point at which we are thinking about technology and survival. When the technology become very smart, for example, the computing technology, artificial intelligence, etc., there are related issues called of survival, basically, of the mankind. One thing is, so I will randomly tell you the points which are there in my mind. One thing is ethics. How many of you have seen the Malayalam movie Joseph? Yes, good, very good. So it is talking about, or it is discussing medical ethics, am I right? Organ business and kind of things. And don't think that this ethics is limited to medical field. It is very much there in engineering also. For example, the very popular story, which all of you know very well, is the story of the driverless car. Am I right? You know that story? If you know it, I may not repeat it in detail, but I'll just tell you the stuff. So you are inside your driverless car going to your office. How many persons are there in the car? Story means there will be some questions, answers like this. How many persons are there? Only you, because it is a driverless car. You are sitting in the VIP seat. You know which is a VIP seat, diagonally opposite to the driver's seat, right? And you are in a good speed. The particular situation is in front of you, there is a truck moving with some heavy items on it. Right of you, there is a motorcyclist with a helmet. Probably may have the license also. To the left of you, another guy, another motorcyclist without helmet, the typical Indian guy or Kerala guy or Kasargode guy, right? May not have the license also, but he will drive. This is the situation. Suddenly, some of the heavy items started falling from this truck to the road. The problem is, what decision your car, the artificial intelligent machine will take? Because even if you know driving, because when you sit inside the car and if you know driving, you will try to apply brake and clutch, etc. But nothing will work. It is a driverless car. Okay, so the machine has to take the decision. Okay, coming short to the core of the story, 3 decisions are possible. This is what is suggested. Don't ask stories inside the story. Just believe me. Only 3 decisions are possible. Either you can directly hit the object and stop there. In that case, you are not disturbing anybody else. That is decision number 1. Number 2 is turn your car to the right where there is the motorcyclist with helmet, both of you will be meeting with accident, but because of helmet he may be escaped. Sometimes the worst can also happen. But anyway, that is one decision. 2. Decision 3 is, I'm talking about ethics, okay? Decision 3 is, turn your car to the left of the road where there is a motorcyclist without helmet. In that case, your justification is, it's not our duty to see that he is not obeying the traffic rule. He might have taken the helmet, whatever it is. That decision can be taken. My question is, you should try to answer this. My question is, what decision will be taken by the machine? Suppose you are the engineer behind the car intelligence design. The AI part is designed by you. How you are going to code the car to take decision 1, 2, or 3? I'm asking it to you because many of you in future will be working on projects of this kind. So that in that case, can you please tell me whether you go for decision 1, directly hit, nobody else is affected, turn to right, justification is he has helmet, damage will be minimum to all of us, and turning left, hitting the guy without helmet, justification is it is none of our headache. He should obey traffic rules. How you code it? I would like to have 3 answers also. I mean, some people choose 1, some people choose 2, and some others choosing 3. Otherwise, it is difficult for me to progress with the storytelling. So I request you to help me also. If anybody is, any option is left, you just say that I will code it like that, okay? So how many are there for choice number 1? Just raise your hand. Okay, what's your name? Yes, please, just to participate in this. Others looks like a very genuine and good engineer, very soft engineer. I don't know whether he's a software engineer, but he's very soft. Please be seated. That's good, because the justification is we are not disturbing anybody, but you are destroying your own machine, isn't it? Even though others may try to code it like this, immediately the marketing department in the car company will oppose him, because the car owners are treated to be VIPs. Their safety, the safety of the equipment, everything is very important. And the advertisements are also in that direction. Our car has more than required number of balloons or something like that, isn't it? In that case, if you directly hit and destroy yourself, nobody is going to purchase your car. In that case, the company may not be even pay the bills of others also, right? So immediately marketing department will oppose you. Okay, who is there for decision 2, hitting the guy with the helmet? Immediately. We try to finish within 20 minutes or so. Anybody? I request people to be, engineers means savers, rescue. So to help me also, please see that that is your option. Who is there for option 2? Genuinely or to help me? Oh, Praveen sir looks like a guy who is giving consent for the car owner, because he basically is a car owner. And hitting the guy with the helmet. Thank you, Dr. Praveen. But there is an issue. Suppose the worst case happened, even with helmet, because the ISI helmets are notorious, right? Suppose the guy met with the extreme case of death or something like that. That day onwards, Dr. Praveen cannot sleep, because the social media will attack him. How can he punish a guy who is obeying all the traffic rules? What a cruel professor, like that, so many issues. Okay, who is there for option 3 then? Hitting the guy without helmet. Anybody? That way also we can code the machine. Who is there for that? Anybody? If you raise the hand, we will save the time. That is a condition. Who will code? Because it is none of our responsibility to see who is not obeying the traffic rules, etc. It's none of our headache. Who is there to code it like that? Yes, what is your name? Jidin. So Jidin is better becoming a police officer than an engineer, right? So he is very strict on rules, and he is ready to punish the guy without the helmet. In that case also, people will kill you like anything in social media. This is because, okay, he was not wearing the helmet, it is a truth, but how can you kill a person? Above all, we are saying that advancing technology for humanity, etc. If that is the motto, how can you do that? Is it good to kill a guy like that? So many criticisms on that also. Then what will be the answer? It's a difficult question. Usually we teachers, if it is a very difficult question, we leave as an assignment, isn't it? First module we will teach block diagram, very easy for all of us. Second module partially we will teach, some surprise test we will conduct. third and fourth, I don't know what is happening, isn't it? In some cases, some seminars will happen. In some other cases, it is available in KTU PDF somewhere else. Okay, this is the ethical issue. Basically, decision making of this kind is very important. For a sustainable development, with a humanitarian touch in that, it depends on the coder, how he is conceiving the idea, how he is looking at the society, how the company ethics are framed. All these will affect decision makings of this kind. So what I'm trying to tell you is, for a sustainable development through education, ethics is an important point. I will just touch points only. I will not tell you how exactly it could be implemented. That depends on the type of society you are working with, type of category of people you are associating with, etc. But anyway, ethics is an issue. This is why sometimes back in Saudi Arabia, the technocrats were trying to give citizenship for the humanoid robot called Sophia. Immediately the religious clerks came opposing that. They will interfere in everything, everywhere, right? That is what we are seeing here also. It's not possible to give citizenship to a robot. So many issues, and finally the government withdrawn from that decision. Again, an ethical issue it is. Nowadays, people are thinking about dating with the robot. Okay, solo dating or something like that. What is a new trend? I don't know. All these things are there. So ethical issues are part of the sustainable development discussion. Next slide, please. Slide will go that way, this way. I think slip it because we want to save time also. By the end of 2030, we are trying to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, ESD. I will leave the pictures for you if somebody is interested in. Okay, next. All these stakeholders are involved. So whatever may be the development, always there is an argument with development and ecological issue. The current issue here itself is what? K-Rail. Isn't it? You are having discussions over that. But anyway, when we think about a project, please think about both sides. So as engineers, especially civil engineers, here, fortunately in LBS, we have a heterogeneous group of all engineers. Therefore, I'm not telling you long stories, but development, ecology, sustainability, these are something interesting. There should be always a balance. Because there is an advertisement in TV nowadays. One son is asking to the father, so I will start a cycle shop when I become younger, he is telling. Then the father is asking why? Because ningal ingane petrol there will be nothing for us. Then cycle only will be available, right? So that advertisement is little important for us. Next. So these are some of the 9 ideas. So anyway, you have to look into 9 slides. That is guaranteed. 9 ideas on education in the post-COVID world, especially for sustainable development. Next one. This is it. Strengthen. Don't try to read the slides. This is just for my show business. Listen to me only. Strengthen the public commitment to education as a common good. This is very important. And even in India and Kerala, the government is slowly withdrawing itself from education sector. It is little dangerous. Even the state government is now talking about, the people who were opposing all these things, were now talking about foreign participation and kind of things. So when government withdraws itself from education, it is a dangerous situation for countries, especially like India. Because your education loan is a burden for you. Many have an educational loan. So how we develop more public institutions for educating the youth, especially in a country like India where more youths are there, as we said earlier, is very important. Okay, just points only we are discussing, because I know that you hadn't take the lunch. Okay, next slide. An expanded understanding of the right to education. This is very important. Right to education, when we talk about right to education, it is a rule, as well as the education of girl child is very challenging. Every girl child across many countries has to become the use of Malalas of their own countries. That is their situation. Even in Kerala, the signs are not very good, as I said. So therefore, thinking about education, accommodating especially our women community, surprising factor is that Kerala and India is a community with 51% of women. Even with that, how challenging education for our girl children is very, very important. So that point, as intellectuals in the society, I request you to think about that. Next. The importance of teaching profession and teacher collaboration. This is because collaboration and networking is very essential for teachers. Many teachers are somewhat like frogs in the well, isn't it? Why you are sitting in classes like this? To get attendance. Because better classes are available in YouTube. Very handsome and beautiful teachers who is dealing all the subject better than all of us, right? So why you are sitting in the class, especially if it is online, it is very convenient. Log in and escape. You will get the attendance. So therefore, it is important for teachers. This is a challenge. Initially we thought that COVID is going to be a challenge for the students. Later we understood that it is really a challenge for the teachers. Every teacher, every morning should ask a question. Why should somebody sit in my class? Isn't it? So this is the challenge for teachers. Because of this technologies like this, as I said, you know that for mathematics, which is the best YouTube class? The other class is for attendance, as I said. So therefore, we have to develop technologies, and teachers should be ready to upgrade themselves, and they should have a couple of reasons by which their students can attend and sit in the class. There should be some takeaways. Otherwise, the class is a failure. There is a book by Narayana Pilla. The title is Vayanakarane Poovittu Poojikanam. That is the title of the book. Like that, teachers will always think like, Pillareke Poovittu Poojikanam, because they are sitting in the class and listening to us, at least pretending to listen, right? Okay, next, that's a challenge. And emphasis on student, youth and children, participation and rights. So this is somewhat a collection of what points we said so far. Everybody is a stakeholder. Even the youth who haven't got a fortunate chance like you to study in colleges should be trained, because you know the semi-skilled or skilled laborers from India who is working abroad, other than you engineers and doctors and teachers, unskilled laborers are also migrated to other countries. You know, their income, whatever they are sending to the home through bank, is contributing to 3% of the total GDP, total GDP, not DGP, total. So that is a contribution. So they should be sufficiently skilled. Especially after COVID, people want laborers, engineers, designers, nurses, teachers, everybody from India only. So that is the inclusive kind of a policy that we should think about. As engineers, you think, can you train somebody in your vicinity, in the library or some club, local club? Can you give some computer training, literacy training, some skill enhancement for the community around you? So that kind of a thought process as a social responsibility should be taken. Okay, many organizations like IEEE and other organizations are doing some aspects of that kind. So please try to involve in that and just convey some kind of knowledge to the next generation or people around you. Next. Protecting the social space of the school in the transformation of education. As I told you, the entire education scenario is getting transformed heavily. And it is a challenge, as I said, for teachers, learners, educational providers. Every college management, even if it is government like LBS, should think, just like the teacher's question, they should all, the managers should ask, why should somebody join in our organization? When very beautiful and well organizations and institutions are available, plenty in numbers, isn't it? So that challenge is there. So we should be ready for the transformation with minimum equipped skill sets and quality improvement. Quality improvement is very important. Next. It is 3 more only, right? Very good. You are fortunate. Free and open source technologies for teachers and students. This is very important. You are enjoying it. You have KTU PDF somewhere. You have YouTube classes. You have so many other things. And you know, so many skilling platforms like the Coursera, Udemy, etc. So I request everybody to get trained. Whenever you get some free time, get trained and get some certifications. Because it is very essential to populate your biodata in future. How you prepare the biodata for the placement cell at 7th semester? Everybody will have the same printout. Only the name and name of father is probably changed, right? Every story remains the same. So usually the placement coordinator will do it for everybody. So it may not be the case. You should have something to add to it. And in the crowd, you should stand somewhat unique. Because otherwise, nobody will be interested in hiring you. For them, as I said, for teachers and educational managers, for you, the advice is there should be some reason for somebody to hire you other than the common reasons of preparing the beautiful biodata. Okay, so that is therefore very important. Think about that very seriously. At least add one certification in a semester, 6 months of time, from competent agencies. You know, this is very important in the new education policy concept also. Okay, I don't have enough time to discuss NEP. Okay, next. Scientific literacy within a curriculum based on strong purpose. That is very important. പണ്ടത്തെ ഒരു ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്, നീ എന്തിനാ പഠിക്കുന്നത് അല്ലേ, സിനിമ അല്ല ഏതോ കൊണ്ടാണ്, നീ എന്തിനാ പഠിക്കുന്നത് വെച്ചാൽ ബിടെക്കിനാന്നല്ല, എന്തിനാ പഠിക്കുന്നതല്ല, വല്ല കാര്യമുണ്ടോന്നാണ്. So I have come across another article which is very interesting. It is titled The Burden of Degree. ഇതിപ്പോൾ ഒരു പ്രശ്നമാണ്. ഡിഗ്രി ഒരു ശാപമായി ആൾക്കാർക്ക്. Because even with BTech, ChemTech, so many other degrees, they are not getting an appropriate career. This is a challenge. It can happen to any of us. If we are not competent sufficiently enough to be there in the employment market, that is why NASCOM and other agencies are saying that only 18 to 23% of the engineering graduates are really employable. This is an eye-opener kind of situation for all of us. If you are not getting an appropriate career, your degree is a curse for you. It's a burden for you. You will carry the sorrows of this for lifelong. Therefore, see that your degree has certain meaning associated with it. See, the degree is not a pass, I'm out of the college, but it should be an entry pass to a suitable career. Please frame it accordingly. Next. The need to protect domestic and international financing for public education. This is what I was mentioning. Education, especially many of you will move to US and other countries for education, I know. During that time, finance is a very important concern. Many don't have that financial background. They have to take huge bank loans. The government of India was proposing about a national education funding agency, forming a national education funding agency where education loan will be given at 3 or 4% interest. Now it is 16, 14, I think, that range. So that is a very important concern, and government should form a corpus fund for education like this. Okay, that is a requirement. Otherwise, many coming from, I know that not everybody sitting in this crowd are from very rich background. So affordable and accommodative kind of education is very important. Next, a global solidarity does not accept current levels of inequality. Yes, inequality is there on the quality of education. When you think about next level of education, you are not thinking about Kerala. You are not even thinking about India sometimes. You are thinking about some of the foreign universities. Of course, the situations are different. But anyway, can we reduce this inequality in successive attempts to have a uniform quality for education, etc., is also a concern. It's not an immediate dream, it's a long-term dream. Next. So these are some of the takeaways of this discussion of the UNESCO, from where I copied this, right? Lessons learned are, one, reduce the digital divide. That is very important. Okay, I need not explain that. Then upskill and e-learning and reskill. You know, nowadays, especially with the work from home, many are thinking about upskilling. In many companies, they will retain the employees only if they themselves upskill or even reskill, because the new project may be in a new domain. Then you have to reskill. That is very important. So it's a continuous kind of learning process that you people require. And this skill set is very important. I have seen a slide in a PPT presentation. How should be a student or an employee, one seeking employment, she was looking like a Durga Devi or something, 10 arms, mobile in one arm, Java in one arm, C++, MATLAB, all skills should be there. Then only you will be able to get placed somewhere. So this is a multiple skill set that we require. Okay, we may not be able to get into all this stuff, but you should have a background knowledge and some thorough knowledge and certification in certain areas. Okay, so these are some of the distant learning strategy, etc. you are applying nowadays, isn't it? You are sitting in this class and learning from somewhere else. That is the distance learning, right, in a sense. Okay, next. So this is actually, these are all keywords for you to search, and whenever you feel some free time, think about the Berlin Declaration on Education in tune with the Sustainable Development Goals. We are thinking like this because as engineering students who are very fortunate to have a 4-year degree course in this country, because this 4-year degree course is very important. This, because of Washington Accord, India is also a signatory. Your degrees are globally agreed. That is why in the new education policy NEP 2020, all the degrees are going to be 4-year degrees, including your BA, BCom, everything. So that is very important. So we are fortunate to have the 4-year degree now itself. So that kind of things. And when we think about the sustainability, environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, and social sustainability, because underprivileged communities, everything will be brought into the frontier of education. That is very important. It is almost reaching the end, I think. Next. Leave it. These are the focuses: accommodative, inclusive, and skill-based education. Next. So making it better is our motivation. Collectively, teachers, learners, students should do it. Reimaging our future together, a new social contract for education. That is our objective. Try to learn, try to teach at least somebody around you, and try to think about new avenues of improving the educational scenario. Next. The ABCs. Okay, all children should be included, etc. Very, very, very good things only written there. Then what? Next. Oh, finished. So it's a heavy relief for all of us. Thank you very much for the chances to have multiple appearance on the stage. A mass appearance, again an appearance, right? Thank you very much. You are all very kind of cooperative guys in LBS. Dr. Praveen and others are very lucky to have students like you. Yes. If you have any specific 1 or 2 questions, I know that you don't have much questions, you can ask it. If it is something like a KTU question paper, I will not answer. Otherwise, I will try to. If any specific, some minor queries, just to satisfy the situation and close it. What is there in your mind? I know. It is more than sufficient. Can you close and escape, right? Okay, then if anything or some difference of opinion, that is also good. It was a radio communication, one way. I didn't allow anybody to talk a word, right? Anybody? Hungry is an issue. Yes, United Nations talk about poverty and hungry also, right? In the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and now we are going through one of it, right? I think it was a very light discussion, right? It was nothing like digital signal processing, usually which is my subject. So I think, are you comfortable? Thank you very much. We will wind up with this.
That was an informative and interesting session. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Orchids, medicinal plants.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Yes, I can. Can you hear? Okay, good. So I think if I just get into the share mode, I think full screen mode, I think you have a problem. Looks like, so I don't know why. So I think it's the right time for you in case to have a lunch rather than having what you call a technical session. But let me anyway start with an apology of not be able to present there physically. I think that is actually what I will call it is personally a loss for me because I have not visited your campus. Okay. So let me apologize for my inconvenience because this COVID has indeed created a lot of problems in our the semester schedules, and because of that I am not able to come. So I will promise you that I will not take more time, and I'll make sure that we will be over it in 20 minutes, which is given to me. All right. So before getting into that, let me thank the KSTSE people as well as the LBS authorities for giving me this opportunity to talk in National Technology Day. I personally take this as a privilege given to me, and thanks to one and all. Now, coming into the selection of this topic, this particular topic, when Shavin called me and asked, can you just tell me what is the lecture which you are going to give? So, can you give me the title? I was actually thinking about many topics of my research which currently going on. And then I realized there are two things. The first thing, it is a National Technology Day. Some of the things which I work is basically on aircraft engines and so on. So unfortunately or fortunately, we don't have one aircraft engine over our design, engine design. Then I was thinking about one thing which in tune with the national technology is something where we are proved to be good at. Right? So Indians are proved to be good at Indian percussion instruments. The second thing is we belong to Keralites, and Kerala is the place where we have a lot of percussion instruments. And moreover, yesterday was the very famous festive of percussion instruments, right? The Puram. The Puram where you will see, we will have the Lenitala Melam and so on, so which is fundamentally of the play of percussion instrument played by expert players. So then I thought I will take this as the topic, and we have proved, and we have a wide variety of Indian percussion instruments. So the reason for taking this course is basically that. Now, obviously, the thanks has to go to the work by my students who are undergraduate students. So that is another reason why I took this topic. Is two of them are my undergrad students who was working with me on their BTech projects. This work came as an outskirt of one of my electives, which I take basically on structural acoustics and noise control. I used to give them a lot of time projects, and one of that I was casually making a remark saying that the Western counterparts have a lot of literature, theory. For example, if you look at violin, the violin has actually a journal by itself, an international journal which publishes research out of the violin instrument. But India, especially Kerala, we have a lot of percussion instruments, but a scientific approach of looking at these things has never been done. A lot of this work is typically carried out by the artisans, by their skill and what they have, come with their traditional skill set. They either get it from their seniors or family wise or whatever it is. So the thanks and the major work is done by Vijay Dubey, and Hari is actually carrying out that. So thanks to those two folks. Both are undergrad, and Vijay is actually a scientist in the satellite center in Bangalore. Okay, now coming into the topic of discussion, we have basically, I have decided this into three. One is why we should study this. The second one is about the snare drums, which we are very familiar with the Western music. Then one of the Hindustani-based Indian percussion instrument, which is the tabla, and then the another one which we typically use, especially in the southern part of India. Mridangam is typically over there in the entire country. You can say there are different varieties of Mridangam. So our discussion is basically on this tabla and Mridangam. Now, what is the difference between the Western counterparts and the Indian counterparts? If you look at the kettle drum, right? The kettle drums are typically doesn't have any consonances. Now the good question comes is, what is consonance? The people who work in music, they know that the harmonic sound produces, it is good to hear. So if it is harmonic, the sound produced is harmonic, then we can hear it pretty much good. But if it is not harmonic, typically the sound will not be really good to hear. Now the Western kettle drums are proved to have non-consonant or dissonant sounds, but whereas the family of Indian drums, whether we call it as the dol, idakka, chenda, tabla, mridangam, and you name it, there are a lot many of them, these actually produce consonant sound. It means the frequency of the membrane is basically harmonic in nature. And if you look at this drums, the family of Indian drums, they have difference of shape of the cavity. They may have resonant head or non-resonant head. You can put with some paste connected at the end. Something is straight, something with a string. For example, Ledaka comes with a string at the middle. So most of the designs of Indian drums are multi-layer in composition, and that makes the study a bit more difficult for people to understand. So now what is actually what we are trying to look at? So this is actually the snare drum, which is typically used in the Western music for the metallic noise, and this is the tabla, and this is the mridangam, and you guys know all that. Now, the analytical solutions, which basically means that you can solve this system of equations, you can solve, and you can see there are enough analytical solutions available, and timpani with kettle enclosures, then which is called the kettling effect. So there are a lot of papers on this. So snare drum, they are single membranes, so on and so forth. But tabla, the first discussion of this behavior and experiment is done by Dr. C.V. Raman. So that is another reason why I thought I will take this particular topic, because when he has been challenged by the Western physicists saying that, the circular enclosures, basically circular membranes cannot produce harmonic sound. So that was the thing when he was talking with them. They said, none of the Indian instruments, the claim of having harmonic sound is not correct. But when our Professor Dr. C.V. Raman came back to India and he proved them experimentally, saying that, see, look, boss, you are wrong. Our instruments, in fact, really produces harmonic sound. So this model has been again modified by so many people, and again from Professor Sundi from IISc. Then Satlaj very recently modified this member with the density distribution. The main reason between these membranes of snare drums and tabla or the mridangam is that the Indian instruments typically have not just the membrane, but it has some mass loading at the center. So there will be some masses will be added in the what you call the surface to just make sure that that produces harmonic noises or harmonic sounds. I should not use the word noise, harmonic sound. So the mridangam, there is only an experiment done by Professor Raman is available, and there are other work which is done by a couple of them, but not many literature is not available. Professor Chandramouli from IIT Madras does a complete analysis on the mridangam, except the fact that he skipped the membrane part. So I thought we will just pitch in, and then we will make sure that we will model the membrane in great detail. Okay, so let's look at the snare drum. So the analysis, as I told you, the analytical solution, this is your typical Bessel function. So this is actually the Bessel function solution, and you knew that this JM is never a harmonic period. And a lot of you can just look at your mathematics textbooks. You will be seeing that any circular wave propagation gives you a Bessel function, then this Bessel function of first kind, and these JM coefficients are never be harmonic in nature. So the immediate solution for an engineer to use FEM, but FEM has certain problem because of the wavelengths associated with it. So we will not be able to use FEM very accurately. So we have used something called pseudospectral methods, and this method we will describe later. And you can see the frequency ratios, and you can see the number of frequencies which you look at that. If I just normalize my analyte solution with respect to the fundamental mode, which I call it as 1, you see everything is 1.59, everything is 2.13, the fourth mode is 2.29, and so on and so forth. So you can see that it is not harmonic in nature, which basically means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, some integer multiples of the fundamental. So this first frequency, the frequency 1, we call it as the fundamental frequency. And you can see that it really doesn't happen in that way. That is a problem with the kettle drum or the snare drum. And this is actually the mode shapes. These are all nothing but the Bessel function solutions, and you can see the solutions what we got from 3 different methods. This is the analytical solution, and this is the finite element solution, and this you can see what we call it as the pseudospectral method. Now comes to tabla, you can see that at the GAN, the bigger one, you can see this, the black patch is basically off-centric, but whereas in the other one, which is basically at the middle one. So we will put it at the middle, and which is symmetric. So this is basically for the low frequencies. The bigger one is for the low frequencies, and the higher one is typically for the higher frequencies. So if you look at the wave propagation equation, I'll just go back to the wave propagation equation. If you look at this wave propagation equation in a membrane depends only on 2 factors. One is the tension, another one is the density. So people have worked on different models with modifying this density in different ways. So the Ramakrishna Sundi model, which I discussed, they assume 2 different densities. So there is a density discontinuation. But whereas Satluj has basically used a smooth membrane, and then the smoothness of the membrane is expressed in terms of one complex function, and then they just try to modify their prediction. And we have just used the Satluj model and then did some modifications and did that. And you can see the density variation. This is actually a pictorial representation of the density variation between the Ramakrishna Sundi model and the Satluj model. You can see there you can see this more or uniform, whereas here you can see a sudden change in jump in density. It's really not good in case of a wave propagation because we call it as creates an impedance match. So this is actually what the solution part which I was talking about. Now let's look at the solution parts. The solution of this, you can see with all these different models, you can see how good our the results are. You see the frequency, the fundamental is 1, the second is 1.9, close to 2. The third is close to 3, the third is 3, and you can see the same error we will be able to get from different methodology, and you can see almost all of them are now harmonic in nature. So this is fundamentally because of, you can say that our mass loading at the center it basically enhances harmonicity of rhythm. And this is actually the mode shapes which the Ramakrishna's paper, and the middle one which is there, which I'm showing now. This is basically the middle one where the photographs are shown. This is typically from the experiment by C.V. Raman, and then the right hand side is the present study which is based on FEM and pseudospectral. And this is the pseudospectral method, and you can see the frequencies when I do the frequencies with fundamental part, you can see it has become 1, 1.9, 1.9, 2.9. So this is 3, and you can see the harmonicity of the membranes has actually greatly improved. Now the question is, how do you put this mass? Where do you put this mass? So you can see that if you look at this equation, the earlier equation which I was talking about, the equation which we are talking about, see, it contains 2 parameters, log sigma and then xi and k. Now how do you decide on this and where it has to be there? So if you talk to a person who basically take this, they will say that they take this parameter sigma at 3.125 and K equal to 0.5. So traditionally our artisans, when they make it at this number. But if you go and ask them why the heck this number is, they have no idea. They will tell you that, this is the way it has been done for years and it works fine. So what we thought is we actually put it across as an optimization problem in engineering, and then we try to define a quality factor where we say that this function, which is the ratio of frequency, which has to be an integer function, and this has to be an integer. So optimize for this quality function, and to our surprise, you can see that we got it exactly at the numbers which our artisans were using, just because of their years, not because of the modern, mathematical tools which they have. So this is very interesting stuff. Then we thought we published these results recently. So we published this in an international conference of sound and vibration with this optimization, and then just told them, see, look, in fact, these membranes with loading, you will be able to find an optimum location for the mass loading. Now comes to the Mridangam part. So obviously you will see that Mridangam is something which all of you might have seen in your life. So the structure and construction is a bit interesting, because this is what is something which you have to be very careful about. This material, which we call it as on the right side, which we call it as the Valandalai, typically we call it as. So that is called a current hand side. We call this as a Valandalai, and the left one we call it as a Nilandalai. This is typically we call it as a topi. So if you look at this Valandalai consists of three membranes. The outermost and the innermost is basically of cow head, the skin from the cow, whereas the middle one is basically from goat. Similarly, if you look at the topi part, you can say that the innermost membrane is typically from the goat, whereas the outer two membranes, they are typically from buffalo, and they are connected with reeds, and these reeds are typically the buffalo skin. And nowadays you can see there are other materials which is typically, you can see a screw-loaded mechanism to make sure that the Valandalai and Nidandalai can be treated separately. Now, these straps are basically buffalo skins. The material for shell is typically in southern India, we use basically jackfruit. But if you have money, you can use sandalwood. But there are players of very famous artists. They play using actually even glass fiber with the shell. Now this black spot is basically a mixture of iron powder, and then rice. So they just play them together, and then they just make this sadam application. And most of the time the Mridangam players has to go back and then make sure that this sadam application is right, so that they will get back their tuning correctly. And sometimes when they play, they will make sure that they play a little bit of rava at the backside of the idandala to just make sure that your tuning is correct. That is where typically the players used to play. And this length of the shell is also an important factor. So this changes from different length. If you are playing for a male voice, you will put it on a bigger thing. If you are playing for a female voice, you will put it on a shorter mridangam, and so on. And again, this is classified into three. Basically, based on construction, we call it as a kuchi mridangam and a kappi mridangam, depending on there will be a strip in between the layers, or where we put a stone powder, crushed stone in between the membrane. We call it as a kachi and kapi mridangam, kuchi and kapi mridangams. And then based on the pitch, if you are playing it for a male voice, we call it as a kagustuti, or the female voice, we call it as a sai stuti, and so on and so forth. So now just come back to the focus of this discussion. This study is fundamentally for a kuchi mridangam, where you can see small strips on the right side figure where the black spot is there. The left figure is typically the topi, and the right side is the Valandale or the Karani. And you can see this has been disassembled, the Valandale has been disassembled, and then you can see the constituent layers. So the outermost layer, then the inner layer, and this. So as an engineering staff, which want to make sure that how good these individual layers are, because the thickness of the layer is typically when they take this animal skin and they put vibhuti and then clean it and remove all the fur from it and then make it almost uniform thickness with their hand. Some of them use basically a wooden chisel, or some of them use actually metallic chisel, but then they remove this fur from the top of it, and then you can see, we just want to know how good this process was. So we can see the membrane, especially the middle membrane, you can see the top and the bottom, you can see there is a thickness variation. But you see, look at the middle one, which is at the bottommost, the thickness variation is very minimal. So think about the skill of our artists, artisans who make this, they are able to make it with a pretty much neat, same thickness. They were able to get with bare hand. If you think about it, they don't use a vernier caliper like I use to measure these, thicknesses. This is actually the profile of the sadam we want to measure now. Now, to do this measurement of the sadam, we can't do it with any other method. So, what we use the vernier height gauge, and we discretized it in such a way that we will get we get into this discretization after so many trials, and this was perfectly able to give us the variation of the density. And you can see this is actually the dimensions, and you can see the sadams, the thickness of the sadam. And thing over there, the squares represent actually this small square on the left and the small square on the right is typically the inner and the outer skins, and the middle one is the thin goat skin. And you can see the vernier measured profile for the sadam. The way they apply is almost of a very particular shape. So we calculated the density again by simple chemistry experiment of measuring mass and volume from each layer, and then we used it using a very high precision weighing balance so that to find the volume of the sadam as well as the weight of the sadam, and then we measured the density of these things in a very accurate manner, and then you can see the weight of this is around 16 grams of weight. They just added at the middle of that membrane. So the next question which we need to have when we do FEM, we need to have the tensile properties of the skin. So we were taken out this from the middle layer of the membrane, and we using the ASTM standard, using an Instron UTM, we were able to measure the tensile properties of each of these layers, and surprisingly you will be able to see that this is actually the tensile test carried out, and we did it up to the breaking strain, which is not required because when you play it, you are not going to break the membrane anyway. So we want to just make sure that whether the calculated elastic moduluses are right or not. We did an experiment, and we can see that within the elastic limit, even for the strain of up to 2% strain, which is quite high, because 0.2% strain in case of metal, we call it as a failure strain, but even for elastic, this kind of material, even at a strain rate of 2%, you can see that this is almost non-linearly elastic, because you can see it is not a linear, but you can assume the Young's modulus is pretty much constant when your strains are very small. So you can assume that this is around 30/1, so that as your tensile modulus, and you can see that approximately we picked a specimen, 2 or 3 specimen, and we calculated the value, and you can see the results what we got over here. So we just want to do find the viscosity, the damping properties of it. So we typically did a DMA analysis, but we didn't really use that data. So I am not putting that data over here. So this is actually the density model. So we have redefined the density model for each of the inner layer, outer layer, and the middle layer separately, and then we kept this exercise quite some. So you can see the normalized results, the density distribution what we have used in our model. I'm just showing it over here. And we did our model, our membrane also, we did a study which is typically on the membrane. To just understand that we have done with grid independence. In the pseudospectral, we have used different ratios, which you can say number of elements and number of nodes, and did that in FEM as well. And we will get back to the most interesting part of the story, where we went ahead with the experimental measurement of the sound, this is something which is genuinely new, which nobody has done. So since we don't want to play it on the mridangam, because mridangam has cavity, we doesn't know really how the cavity interacts with the surface. So we did actually a standalone experiment where I am tensioning only the mridangam, the valandale, and then giving different valandale, and just try to see how exactly this system behaves for an excitation. So we use the laser scanner vibrometer to just measure the vibrating patterns of this membrane, so this composite membrane, and then see how good or how bad your experimental results with that of what we have typically used the analytical model. So this is something which is a very innovative way of doing it, because nobody else has tried it. So we just want to know how exactly this behaves. So now you can see the results comparison from the experimental as well as see, obviously in the experiment some of the modes I have not plotted, because I don't want to clutter these things. And you can see I was mostly interested in things which are periodic in nature, and you can see the first nodal diameter, that is 1, and the second one is 2. This is actually our analytical methods also predict. Interesting part is when we just do the membrane alone, we can see some anharmonic modes which are coming. For example, node 20. This is 2.7. Obviously not a harmonic with respect to the fundamental. And you can see the 5.2, the mode 5. This is also anharmonic in nature. This is not something which was there in the literature. So we already concluded saying that, look, there may be a cavity effect. See, if you look at the experimental research by Dr. C.V. Raman, he has actually used the mridangam player to come and play. I heard it is the late Palkat Maniagar was a very famous mridangist. So if he just come and touch, he will produce only harmonic notes. He won't be even able to produce the harmonic notes. So if I played, I'm not a trained mridangist, so obviously I may be able to generate all these notes, but this was not the case in his experiment. And there the purpose was, they just want to prove that, we get harmonic notes because of this mass loading. So there was a pretty much good match between the experiment and numerical results. And this is some of the what you call the pictorial representation of the eigenvalues, which you can see. And I can discuss this in more, but then again, I just want to show you one of the experimental mode shape on the first mode and the sixth mode. You can see this experimental mode shapes also matches pretty much well with that of what we have got from the analytical results. So in a quick summary, you can see that we can create a mathematical model, and then which is realistically describe the karane of a mridangam. And only thing is we are using some of the latest techniques and instruments. And obviously the membrane is the source of consonants, as Dr. C.V. Raman has predicted. So that is one of the major sources of consonants in mridangam. Now Hari is basically looking at the cavity coupling with the membranes and so on, and it is just going on. And before I conclude, I just have to make sure that I should thank an important person who is basically behind giving us the karane as well as Vedantala. Typically, they won't sell this separately alone. But if you look at Mr. Raji, when we talked to him, he was ready to give. Actually, he has given some of the damaged topi as well as karane, so that we can do a lot of destructive experiments on that. So my sincere thanks to him. So that is his address. Unfortunately, I didn't have. I have his mobile number. I forgot. I'm happy to share you that. So thanks to him, and I think these are some of the references. I think I'll keep it, and then maybe I'm open for discussion. So open to you. Thanks for listening. Sorry, Swami Vivekananda very clearly said, when you feel hungry, there is no Veda will not be of help to you. So sorry for giving a Veda at a wrong time. So sorry about it. And I'm happy if you have some questions. If you don't have any questions, also fine, but I'm happy to answer it. And if in case you want to contact me, my email ID is there in IST's webpage. You shoot a mail saying that this is the reason you want to contact me. I'm happy to respond. Those of you are trying to ask questions in your. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Can I assume that there is no questions? Yeah, okay. Okay then. All right. Thank you.
So thank you all the students for joining for this celebration, inaugural function of the National Technology Day celebrations. Thank you all for your cooperation and waiting patiently without taking the lunch. Thank you all. And okay, attendance I will be giving to the concerned officials, and they will be giving you the attendance. Thank you.